Hello, welcome to Black Women in Educational Leadership. I am your host and founder, Rashida Hobbs Jones. So I have a school leader tip for everyone that I want to discuss today. But before I jump in, for those of you that are watching, I want you to go ahead right now and click the subscribe button. Make sure you also follow us on all social media platforms. We are under at Black Women in Ed Leadership. And also, I would love to hear your comments. If there are any topics that you want me to talk about, give you any advice on, share with the community, and us together as a unit talk through it. Please don't hesitate to DM me. So, what do I want to talk about today? This is one of my favorite tips that I like to give school leaders, and that is you are an instructional leader. Okay? News alert. Let me say that again. You are an instructional leader. What do I mean when I say you are an instructional leader? Well, for several generations, we have been under this perspective. And when I say we, I mean the public, I mean educators, that we are managers. We are managers. We are the operational experts. And so as a result, some of that has had to do with where our kids sit today as it relates to, do they pass or do they fail, or did we really push them to the maximum that we could have pushed them based on our actions as leaders? Now, you might be asking, Rashida, what do you mean when you say we are instructional leaders first? I'm glad you asked. So basically, your job as a school leader in any capacity is to make sure all students are learning, they're growing in their learning, they are increasing in their academic achievement, and that you are driving results for positive campus and student outcomes. In addition to that, your responsibility as an instructional leader is to make sure you are growing your team instructionally. And your team means your other leaders, like your assistant principals, like your instructional coaches, those who are part of those leadership discussions, in addition to your teachers. So what does that mean? That means your job has to be in the classroom. It has to be a part of those private learning communities. It has to be a part of those data meetings. It has to be walking that entire building, making sure your culture and climate is where it needs to be. Because again, you are an instructional leader. And I need to mention this for a reason. And that's because oftentimes as school leaders, we get bombarded with so many things. We don't know what's important. It's hard for us to see the forest from the trees, right? And so we get boggled down with discipline matters. That's like a number one thing that school leaders get boggled down with. We get boggled down with those unscheduled parent meetings. We get boggled down with bogged down with those things that just pop up on our calendars that we jump to right away. Or those things that were never, ever scheduled. The person from outside of the school needs to go and look at the roof, or they need to go look at the toilet that is not working. And we as leaders, we get bogged down with handling so many operational and discipline issues and parent meetings that we miss what's important: instruction. And as a cost, our students suffer. We're not seeing what our teachers are teaching in the classroom. We don't know if it's aligned to the rigor. We don't know if it's aligned to the standards. We don't know if it's even bite-sized for our students to be able to grasp in one day, right? We don't know what's happening. We don't know if our leaders are pushing our teachers to the level that they should. We don't get the time to prepare what teachers should be teaching for every single subject, and what are those high leverage things that we need to be focused on as instructors. We don't get to analyze our student data, not just on their unit assessments, We should be knowing the data before they take their unit or interim or benchmark assessments, right? These are all things we should know. The data that we should be looking at should be a predictor to how they're going to perform when they do take those interim assessments before they take the formal assessment. But because we are too busy doing so many of the things without a lack of resources, without the proper help or the manpower, and we're trying to put out the fires, we think we're being helpful and effective, but I would have to push on that. Are we really being effective? Does it show in our results? I want us to think about it, right? Education is one of the very few fields where you can continue to have leaders and teachers underperforming and there be no accountability. They can continue to stay in their roles. They can continue to do what they're doing year after year. They can continue not to receive coaching, development, one-on-one, side-by-side feedback. And here is my thing. Most of our leaders and teachers are great. They are incredible. But many of them are not getting the training at the cadence level they need to and the coaching that they need to be successful to become instructional experts. And leaders, at the end of the day, those results fall on us, right? It's not going to be the assistant principal's problem. It's not going to be the coordinator's problem. It's not going to matter that little Timmy is autistic. Those things don't matter. What matters is we have to get results, and no matter what a child's issue is, we can gain growth, some level of growth, right? So our job is to focus on being instructional leaders. So you might be asking, okay, you gave me the tip. I'm an instructional leader. And that made me question, am I being an instructional leader or am I being the enforcer, the disciplinarian, the mother to everyone? And I'm forgetting about what matters most. Right now, I might have you thinking. So here is what you can do to help you become a better instructional leader, or to shift your mindset from manager to instructional leader. Start by knowing what's going on in your building instructionally. That's number one. When you know what's going on in your building instructionally, and you take the time out to observe and to write down exactly what's taking place and look at the data and carve out those trends and really internalize and analyze what the data is saying, you can create a vision for your school that you want to meet, that meets you being an instructional leader and your team growing in their instructional development and your students becoming better at their instruction and receiving the high quality education that they so deserve. That is going to allow you then to start coaching your teachers and coaches and leaders. We know that professional development, research tells us, is not the stopping point. You're not effective when you have a professional development and then you send teachers away. You've got to coach, and you've got to be a part of those meetings that's happening to get your teams better and be in those classrooms to get your teachers better and stronger. That's my time with y'all today. Tip, again, you are an instructional leader. Make sure you subscribe below. Also, make sure you like us. Go ahead and comment. Send us your thoughts. Would love to hear them. Like us and share. Bring on other people to tune in to our Black Women in Educational Leadership. I just gave y'all a gem, ladies, in case you did not know that. In case you are not doing that, I gave you a gem. If you would like to hear about other gems, seeking any type of advice, want me to discuss any topics uniquely related to Black women in educational leadership, make sure you DM me. I will see you all next time on Black Women in Educational Leadership. Have an awesome day. Take care. Bye.